What is up, YouTube? Welcome back. Today we're gonna do back today. We have a back day. I was about to say chest. I thought it was a chest day, to be honest with you, but it's back. So we're gonna have a solid ass back day. Just making some pre-workout with the pump right now. So I always do some kind of pre-workout with a pump combo usually. No real rhyme or reason. I just like to use it, so that's why. But I have different brands, different flavors. Today, I'm just going with this Rise Godzilla Green Apple pre-workout, but along with some non-stim pump. But I also have a bunch of like Raws pre-workout, and I like their pre-workout quite a bit as well. But yeah, it's usually just pre-workout, pump, and then I kind of mix it up, but I've just been adding my creatine into my pre-workout just to get it in, might as well. But which I think I'm actually about out. But anyways, I'm gonna be real honest, I'm gonna have to think about what I'm gonna do for the day now, because I was kind of thinking about my chest day, what I was gonna start out with and stuff, and it's back today, back and buys, so we'll, yeah, figure out what we're gonna start with, and then we'll get going. All right, so I think for today, we're gonna start over with some bent over barbell rows. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to do underhand. I think I might try doing underhand grip today. Or what is that called? Pronated, supinated, I can't remember which one it's called. One or the other. Anyways, I'm gonna try doing underhand. Just switch up the grip style. All right, so I was gonna add a little more weight, or I guess quite a bit more weight, which I might add some still, just, you know, try to make it a little more challenging, but doing underhanded like that, I can't lift nearly as much. It's probably a good thing. Should probably try to focus on form more than just moving the weights, so I don't know. I might add 10 pounds to each side, but honestly, I think for this first set, or this exercise, we're just gonna leave it at a little lower weight and try to control it, so. Yeah, feels pretty good. Fuck. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. Trying to do bent over rows like that after a leg day probably isn't the best thing to do. My legs are sitting there fucking shaking trying to do it, so. But, didn't feel too bad. I didn't today, obviously, but typically I've been starting my back days just doing pull-ups, regular pull-ups. And honestly, it's because I suck ass at pull-ups. So I've really been trying to, shouldn't say I've been trying to do it for a while, but here lately, on my back days, I'll usually start with a pull-up and just try to get better at them, you know. Yeah, I don't know, I've never been real great at pull-ups, but I've never actually sat there and done them consistently either. So I'm trying to tell myself every back day I need to be doing pull-ups just to get better at them, and hopefully in the process get a little wider back. So next, we'll just do some body weight neutral grip pull-ups. Okay, so I think that was only like what, 6 reps? 5 or 6 actual decent reps, and then couldn't do full ones anymore, but I definitely should have started with these. I think I pre-fatigued myself a little bit doing the bent over rows, but that's okay. We'll just keep working at it. But yeah, if I could get to where I could do, you know, I don't know, like 12 to 15 pull-ups pretty consistently, I'd be happy. Like, just body weight pull-ups, I feel like I should be able to do that many. But I just never really did them, so I suck at them. But, you know, that's what we're here to do every day, is improve. So might as well just start here. I keep forgetting the fucking music, dude. Just gonna have to start leaving that bitch on. Okay. So, as you'll notice too, like, I've really been trying to focus on, while I'm doing the reps, to actually like retract my scapula as I'm going up, instead of putting a lot of bicep into it. I'm really trying to target my back muscles and just focus on them as I go up. So as you'll see towards the end, when I can't do any more pull-ups, I'll just sit there and kind of retract my scapula a few times, just to, I don't know, not getting more reps by any means, but really just trying to target those muscles, fatigue those muscles, work those muscles. And if I can sit here and try to train my brain, like, you know, as I'm going up, retract my scapula, go up, then it'll just put a lot more back into it and not as much bicep. So just something I've been trying to work on as well. And obviously controlling it on the way down. That's control on the way down. Actually use the back muscles, not your biceps. That's what we're working on. Okay, so next we're gonna do bent over dumbbell rows, just single dumbbell rows. Use the bench as support with our other arm. So, and then we're just really gonna focus on driving our elbows back behind us, but we're not gonna go straight back. We're gonna kind of do a rowing motion And, you know, as we come forward, big stretch, as we come back, all the way back. But you're literally just trying to focus on driving your elbow back. And like I said, kind of going down towards your hip as you're coming back. So. And I'm using straps for this also. Honestly, most pulling movements I use straps for simply because I want my, you know, I want the muscle I'm trying to target to give out first before my grip does. So basically in this sense, you know, working on our lats. So I want to hit failure or stop because my back literally can't pull it anymore. I don't want to stop because my hands are tired of holding the dumbbell. So I do use straps for most things, like I said, pulling motion wise, but I mean, not because the weight's necessarily super heavy. Like I could hang on to it for a while, but eventually my hand's gonna get tired and, you know, I'm gonna be a little bitch and probably give up on a set too early just because my grip strength was giving out, right? So trying to avoid that. Just trying to hit failure on the muscle we're targeting, so. And then also I think that saves your biceps a little bit too, which, you know, any pulling movement you are using a little bit of bicep regardless. And we're gonna hit them at the end a little bit, so I'm not too concerned about it, but I really want my back to get a good workout in, so. I know I just talked about it, said I was probably gonna do 4 sets, but honestly, I feel pretty good with 3. So, might as well just move on to another exercise and hit some more parts of my back and yeah. But like I said, honestly, sometimes I just go off feel, right? If I do 3 sets and I feel like I fucking need another one, I do another one. If I hit, I typically don't go any less than 3. I don't know. It's not the type of person I am, but you know, sometimes there's been times I've even done 5 or 6 sets. And a lot of people are gonna tell you that's way too many. I don't think so. If you're sitting there doing an exercise, well, let me back up a little bit. I know I just said if you're not feeling it at 4 sets, you're probably not going heavy enough. But I didn't say you couldn't do more. I just said by 4 sets, you should be feeling something in that muscle. But there's been plenty of times where, like, I'll do 5 or 6 sets just because it's feeling great, right? Like I'm working it and I could feel it getting worked, but I don't know. I feel like I can go harder. I have the energy. I can push more sets. Like, sometimes it just feels right. Like, honestly, I just go off whatever the fuck I guess I feel like or my body feels like. And again, a lot of people are going to tell you 6 sets is way too many for one exercise, but you know what? I say if it feels good to you, do it. Like, you're not hurting nothing, I promise. There's no way you were going to train a muscle, unless you're doing it in proper form and actually like really hurt yourself, but you're not going to overwork a muscle just adding more sets. Like, that's not a thing. You're not going to, if you ever hear anybody say, you're going to work your muscle too hard, don't listen to that shit. Just, again, don't hurt yourself. You want proper form and, you know, you can definitely hurt yourself, but not just by adding on a couple more sets. So, anyways, let's move on to some pullovers. Okay, so I typically do this pullover with a rope, but where I have this new, again, I didn't look up what it was called, but where I have this new handle I talked about in my other video, I think I'm gonna try it with this, but typically you do pullovers, you know, you have the cable above you with the rope and you're slightly bent over and you're just, you know, you're pulling, trying to drive your elbows back. Again, most back movements are trying to drive your elbow back, right? But you're bent over, you get a big stretch, and then you drive your elbows back with the rope. So this is the same concept as a normal pullover. It's just laying down on a bench and then laying down on the bench and having the rope behind you and then just pulling it over like this. I personally love this one. I think, I can't tell you if it's actually better or not. I'm not an expert, but for me personally, I feel it a lot more in my lats than I do. Like, I feel like when I'm standing over and bent over, I still feel it really well, but I feel like I'm just trying to stabilize myself too much, you know, my core, my legs, like I'm trying to keep myself stable. And then you get to the point where if you add a lot of weight, right, you can't really, I don't know, do it as effectively. Where with this, I mean, the bench is supporting you, so you don't have to worry about like, I mean, you're probably still stabilizing your core a tiny bit, but most of it's just literally all lats. I mean, you're just focused on bringing that rope down beside you. And I feel like you can do heavier, it's more controlled, more isolated. And again, I just love it. So, but I haven't tried it with this handles. Hopefully it works okay. If not, I'll just swap back over to normal rope and do it normally, but we'll give it a shot. Okay. Whew. Okay, so I might have to pull the bench out a little further. I couldn't quite get my full stretch back without, you know, bottoming out the weights. So I'll pull my bench out just slightly, but other than that, it felt pretty good. Also might need to go, well, I don't know, we'll try that one again. Might need to go slightly higher with my bench too, but we'll find the right adjustments. But I do like that handle still, just because I feel like, again, you can go wider with it, and so you can really drive it down. Whereas the rope, you know, you can basically spread it far apart this far. So, you know, once you get to here, you're done. But if your hands are out here, you can technically go a little further back. I'm not saying it's a crazy amount, but I like it. Ooh. Okay. got a little heavy on that one, so we'll drop the weight a little bit, but god damn, I do like that exercise a lot. That's flat out all I had. So let's let's move on. So to be honest with you guys, I just kept the bench the same way, you can probably tell. Flipped around, and now, well, I need to move it closer. But I'm gonna grab this V handle and just do some basically lat pull downs, but they're not overhead lat pull downs. They're, you know, still kind of a row motion, but I don't know. I guess it's kind of a mix up between a row and a pull down. But regardless, these feel pretty good. I wish I had an actual, how do I word that? I wish I had a dedicated lat machine or lat pull down machine or a cable that went overhead so I could actually do just full on lat pull downs. And I could probably figure out a way to do it with my cable machine. It's just kind of hard to try to get this bench in there, but I don't know. These will feel pretty good. And like I said, if I keep doing those pull-ups, that's basically the same thing as a lat pull-down, just pulling your body weight up instead. So still at least kind of getting something from that kind of a movement. But yeah, we'll do these rows and move on to some biceps. I will say, the only reason I have the bench up is I kind of use it to support my legs against, so it doesn't pull me forward. But I probably won't do it today. But another exercise I love doing with like a bench setup like this is just kneeling on it. And then doing like one-handed rows with the cable. Or even just sitting on it still, but doing like I said, doing one arm and isolating it. That's honestly a pretty good workout too. Or a movement, I should say. But yeah, we'll do a little bit more of these, and like I said, we'll call that. My back's feeling pretty good. Honestly, I don't feel like I'm getting, tired now to the point where I'm not getting a lot out of it, I guess, diminishing return, but we're still gonna do a couple more sides at least, so. Come on, bitch. felt good. Now, I don't know, you can probably do them on shoulder day or back day. I just do it on back day because they're technically kind of a part of your back, but not kind of, they're technically part of your back. Traps is what I'm referring to. So I'll usually do one exercise. I kind of forgot this one. I didn't really throw it in rotation, but I'll just superset it with biceps. But I'll usually just do some, you know, trap raises, or shrugs, I should say. Nothing crazy, just, I don't know. I like to try to hit them. I focus on trying to, instead of just raising my shoulders up, I try to bend over a little bit and bring them back and up, just because your traps actually go down the middle of your back. Not that my traps are amazing by any means, so probably should take advice from me on that, but that's what I try to do. So yeah, we'll get set up and go finish the workout. So for shrugs, I try to bend over a little bit and then I'll probably do a little bit lighter than that next time, but typically, I guess what I was trying to get at is, instead of just sitting here straight up and down, I try to bend over slightly and then actually like come up and backwards. Instead of just up, you want to come up and backwards, because that's actually going to target, you know, your traps come across your shoulders basically, and then they go down the center of your back. Like, that's how your traps are shaped. So like I said, if you bend over and then actually come back and up, you hit a lot more of the trap versus just standing straight up and going like this, in my opinion. But again, I don't have the most amazing traps anyways, so take my advice how you want to. And I can't remember who I was watching when they said it, but I watched the guy say, if you're not making funny faces when you're doing shrugs, you're probably not doing it right, or heavy enough, because it'll make you do some funny faces. That's one thing I would highly recommend too. Like, I know It probably looks easy for me to say now because I'm in my own private space, but the main reason the only reason I don't want to film in my public gym isn't because there was other people around, but it's just because the gym was so small. Like, I have a whole ass tripod set up right now. In fact, I'll kind of show you what it looks like. But as you can see, there's a whole ass, which my battery died on at the moment, but there's a monitor on top of my camera, there's a camera, there's a tripod to it. Like, it's a whole ordeal, right? So the whole reason I didn't want to film at my public gym isn't because I was afraid of what people would think or whatever. It's just because I didn't want to get in their way, right? The gym's so small that if you get a few people in there, your camera is going to be set up in their way. So it's not normal at my gym to film or anything like that. So I just never really did, unless it was an empty gym, which wasn't real often. But what I was getting at is, I think a lot of people worry about how they look working out, right? They're scared that other people are going to judge them, or they don't want to make weird facial expressions or weird noises, or, you know, they don't want to look stupid doing an exercise. I promise you, 90% of people, if not more, but at least 90% of people in the gym, I promise you, do not give two shits what you look like working out. They're not focused on you, they're not paying attention to you, they're not whatever, right? I promise you. Like, most people are there to focus on themselves. They don't care how you look. So I think people just need to quit worrying about like how they look working out and just focus on the workout. I think people do a lot better, personally. You know, I'm not gonna lie and act like there's not people in the world that judge you, right? Like, someone's gonna judge you somewhere. Someone's probably watching my videos judging the fuck out of me, right? I mean, it is what it is. But that's one tip of advice I'd give. Go to the gym, do your fucking workout, do hard ass working sets that make you funny faces, you know? Who gives a shit if you're making a funny face? It's a lot better than going to the gym and going, you know, barely fucking moving any weight just so you look pretty or whatever. Like, fuck that. Pick some heavy weight up, do the most you can, work hard, and don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. But anyways, thought I'd give a little TED Talk rant there. We'll go ahead and do a couple more sets and call our back day done. Oh, shit. Now, to be honest, I normally don't wear straps doing my curls, but I already had them on, so I said fuck it. But just to clarify, most time curling, I don't use straps. Yeah, it's another drop set. Fuck. Not much of one. All right. Last set of traps, and then we'll do some we'll do some posing. I really hope it looks so, you know, I don't know. Every time I've done back posing in the past, it doesn't look bad in the tank top, but tank top also covers the lower part of my back. So I don't know. I just have some, you know, I feel like I have not like a crazy amount, but some lower back fat that doesn't make it look real defined. So it just doesn't look good. But again, I'm not here to try to hide shit and sugarcoat it for the internet. I'll show you exactly what I look like, and you know, hopefully over the years I keep improving. But anyways, let's do this. Okay, so like I said, we are gonna do, I'm gonna do a little bit of back posing, but I'm gonna have the screen facing the mirror so I can see myself doing it, just because I honestly want to see what it looks like while I'm doing it, and see if I can make improvements on it. Because I'm telling you, my back's the one thing that's, it's a weaker part of my body. Like I struggle to actually hit it for a long time, is like not trying to hit it, just actually like the mind muscle connection itself. You know, I struggle trying to work the actual back muscles, and then I just posing wise, I suck at my back. But anyways, we're gonna give it a shot. First, just for fun though, we'll do a lat spread. Okay. Do a lat spread from the back now. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit so you guys, it's a little better. Oh, there we go, we'll try that. Okay. There's only one thing left to do. Let's try it. Let's get the full effect of the back here. Again, we're not here to sugarcoat it. We're not here to act like we're better than we are. Try a lat spread here. Okay, let's try this again. Got the camera set up a little better. Still don't like that though. I feel like I need it more over here. There we go. Like I said, this is the first time, guys, that I'm really doing some back posing, so I'm trying to figure out where I want the fucking camera at. So you're gonna have to excuse me on that one. See, I don't mind my upper back at all, but this just lower part of my back, you know, these love handle shit, I just feel like I want to get them more defined. But obviously bulking, it's probably not going to happen, so having more of a cutting thing. Let's try a lat spread again. All right, let's try a front lat spread one more time. Yeah, that looks like shit. God damn. I'm also getting tired now. I've been posing for a minute, so it's not really working out, but. All right, well. You see, my lat's coming in decently well itself, so that makes me excited. But I want to try to hit this one more time, and then we're going to call it. Just because, like I said, at this point, guys, I'm really just practicing how to do back poses for the future. So this is the first time I've really gotten some time just to try to do them. I mean, the only time I've ever taken pictures or videos of my back is at the public gym, and every time I'm filming there, I'm hurrying before somebody comes. So well, I think that's enough with the posing for now. Like I said, I mean, I probably repeated this multiple times, so probably shouldn't again, but a lot of this is just me practicing, you know, getting better at it. That is probably the longest I've ever sat there and just tried to focus on how to move my body and like where my arms should be at or whatever, just to try to make it look better, right? Or do it right or whatever, I guess you want to call it, but again, I'm not trying to, I'm not ashamed of not being perfect at it, you know? I'm not trying to be 100% perfect for the internet, so. Well, all right, guys, I think we're gonna call that a wrap on the workout today. Yeah, did some back posing, I'm gonna be honest. In the monitor, at least, that I'm looking at myself in, it didn't look bad as far as definition and stuff. So I'll have to see when I edit it. I'm really hoping it kind of looks crazy like it did, or I thought it did. Because again, my back's always just kind of been a weaker point that I haven't really been able to flex or focus on, or the mind muscle connection for my back is the absolute hardest, in my opinion. But yeah, so next video, it will be chest day. Thought today was, that'll be tomorrow. So I plan on filming that as well. But again, if you guys made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate the support. Again, please subscribe if you haven't. I'll take all the help I can get, or even any feedback, right? If you want to subscribe and leave me some feedback on what I could do to improve on to make it a better viewing experience for you guys, I'm all ears. But again, I love you guys. Thanks for the support, and I will see you for chest day. Later.